While writing my dark fantasy novel, Banished Creatures of the Arcana, I'm writing from a dragon and a unicorn's perspective, which adds a challenge because that's not the human perspective, and of course, we are most familiar with our own human perspectives. And this is Millie here. Millie, wanna look at the camera? Up there? Yeah, good girl. She's peeking out behind my shoulder. So this video is going to be about what I have learned about writing from a non-human perspective. The first thing I really want to consider are the senses. So smell, sight, hearing, touch, these are all going to be different for a non-human. Every being is different. Also considering what animals in our world are similar, like bats, and how they see through sound could be similar to how dragons see. In my mind, bats and dragons are similar, probably just because of their wings, but using sound, thinking that dragons maybe have a better sound ability than humans. That's my dog Penny growling because she wants dinner. But it's not time yet. It's close, but not quite. She's impatient. But that could be an example, thinking about like how dogs see the world. They see different colors. Most mammals hear a lot better than we do. So picking what parts I want to bring into these creatures. Like a unicorn is probably going to be fairly similar to a horse. And then kind of putting myself in a creature that would have similar senses. So if I was a dragon who is similar to a bat and maybe an iguana, how do those two creatures see the world? And just imagine if in this situation or environment that my story is in, how would they explore that world? It would be different than a human. They would see differently. They would hear differently. So making those choices before I start writing so that it stays consistent. In my novel, I have a lot of very dark environments. In the ocean, in the depths, deep dark depths of the ocean, in caves, underwater. It is very dark, it is very cold, so relying more on sound or smell, and then a creature coming from those dark depths who are experiencing maybe the Earth's surface for the first time, they are going to see a lot of things that they've never seen before. What colors are they seeing now? Can they even see color coming from such a dark place? These are all things to consider. So breaking the habit of writing from how a human would view an environment is difficult because that's the first thing that I go to. Sometimes I'll write from a human's perspective and then go through and change it or add it because that's more natural. It comes easier. Also thinking what these creatures eat. So animals, dragons, they are hunters. So they're probably going to smell prey. They're going to smell meat, flesh, like humans can't. So are they smelling like rotting meat? Do they like the smell of rotting meat? Do they like the smell of flesh? Considering all those kinds of things. The way they hunt, how do they hunt? Drawing maybe from a bear or a lion, other hunters that we know that I can get more information from, and taking that to influence how my dragons hunt. It can also heighten like a sense of unease to write from an animal's perspective when they are hunting. It creates this tension. It can be very dark. It can be eerie. This is kind of the vibe that I'm going for. Having them smell things before they see things, gaining knowledge through their nose before their eyes. Also how they interact with the earth itself. Can they feel the earth moving? Can they feel the air pressure differently than humans can? Does the ground feel different when they walk? Do they feel sand and grass differently? Because they're walking, like dragons will walk more on their toes than flat-footed like humans or like unicorns or horses. So really what I'm doing is I'm taking the five senses and figuring out how they are distorted from the human perspective. And that may also change how they are solving problems or conflict that comes up in the story. They're not going to maybe see things to solve problems. Maybe they're going to feel or smell or hear instead of using their sight. Like us humans, sight is one of our strongest senses. So while a dragon, sight probably, especially if they're underwater in the dark, sight is not one of their strongest senses. I think writing monsters or kind of more evil, dark characters, what I'm going to rely really heavy on, using these distorted senses to make that monster seem scarier, because it's something that we are not familiar with. And when we're not familiar with something, often we find it scarier writing this way or considering this while writing, I think creates a really immersive or unsettling novel that hopefully leaves a bigger impact. If you have any more tips or techniques, advice for writing from a non-human perspective, let me know in the comments. Do you have any favorite novels that write from a non-human perspective? I love Watership Down, which is all from a rabbit's perspective. That's a classic. But I'd love to discover more novels that are not from human perspective. Let me know in the comments and follow my journey while I write this novel. But for now, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.